Welcome back. I'd like to introduce our viewers today to Melanie Pouliot. She is an author of a book that she's written about her son. It's lovely to have you here today.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yes. Now, what year did this book come out, first of all?
2011.
Okay. Melanie Pouliot's son was diagnosed at age 12 with terminal brain cancer. He went into remission once, he was re-diagnosed and died at age 27, and that was in 2011.
Correct.
First of all, I'd like to say I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And the journey that you have gone through, and now the journey you're going through with life without Mark. You have written this book, and it's a beautiful, detailed account of his journey, with letters from him in it as well. Tell me a little bit about why you chose to want to document the journey of your son's life.
Well, it was a decision that Mark and I made together. After his last relapse, he mentioned to me one day that it was something that he wanted to do. And so we embarked on the journey together, and we accomplished this while he was still with us. And his purpose was to leave behind his legacy and for his life to mean something more than just what he went through in his struggles, but to leave his legacy and to encourage people and to help them to see things in another way and support the process that they're going through in their life. So there was lots of reasons why he wanted to do it, and so as his mother, I wanted to support that process.
For Mark's life, he knew life with cancer longer than he knew life without cancer.
That's right.
Tell me about what kind of a man he was, what kind of a boy he was, and he had to grow up quickly.
He did. Yeah, Mark was an amazing young man. Even at age 12, he was very mature and wise beyond his years. And so when he was first diagnosed, he embraced it. He was positive, he was optimistic. He carried himself with poise and just there's such a strength within, and encouraged everybody around him. People would be sad and feeling bad for him. He's like, oh, it's fine, everything's fine. And he showed such strength and courage and just such an amazing character that he was right through to the very end. And yeah, so.
He went into remission, I understand, from 2003 forward to 2010, is that right?
That's right, yes.
And during those years, was life back to normal a little bit?
Somewhat, yeah. He had a lot of challenges that he had to deal with on a daily basis. He developed an acquired brain injury, and also there was some visual impairment, hearing impairment, so the cognitive dysfunction and such was very difficult for him, and he was very aware of his new challenges. But he still did what he could and lived every day to the fullest, making the most of every moment that he had, because he knew that time possibly would be short. And so he didn't take advantage or take for granted, I should say, the life that he had. It was just full on, full steam ahead with everything that he did. Even when he wasn't feeling well, he still made a point of getting up and moving every day and doing something and fulfilling what he wanted to accomplish with the time that he had here.
Life Through the Eyes of an Hourglass. Where does this name come from, this title?
Yeah, the title comes from a song that Mark wrote when he was 13 years old. Mark was a musician, in fact, an amazing, talented musician, and he played the guitar and wrote many songs and was involved with many bands throughout the years that he was with us. And so Life Through the Eyes of an Hourglass, yeah, a title of a song at age 13. And so when we were looking at putting this together, it just made sense, being that his life, because of the diagnosis that he had, hourglass represents time, and so having the hourglass on an angle with the sand falling slowly through, that represents his life and the time that he had, that time was precious and running out. So,
who is this book meant for, Melanie? You've written it as a tribute to your son, but I think
yes,
it's meant also as for people who may maybe also be going through the same thing.
That's right. That's the hope, and that people who read this will be encouraged and hopefully inspired, and maybe we'll see things differently and have some inspiration. Because it is, and it doesn't have to just be someone who's dealing with a terminal illness, a family member who has cancer. That absolutely will be very beneficial and helpful for them. But anyone who's going through a hard time in life, and that's what Mark was seeing for this, is that anyone who's maybe down and out and needing a pick-me-up.
We have some pictures, I believe, of Mark. Maybe you can speak to these. What a sweet little boy.
Yeah, age 1 there, age 3. Even at age 3, he was doing air guitar there.
And, height and weight. And
I believe that this video was taken by
Big for
Mastermind
his age.
Studios,
That's correct,
produced by
He
the
was
folks at
very active,
Mastermind.
loved
And the
sports,
purpose of this, what was this for?
It was a surprise reunion for Mark, meeting up with a friend that he had met at Canuck Place, and a very special person to Mark. And so we set up the surprise reunion. This person that we were setting it up with was the activities coordinator at Canuck Place, and then had moved on to the director of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And so that's what this video was for, was to surprise Mark and to reconnect him with a long-lost friend.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I'm really thrilled to be able to have you on the show to talk about this. And I know that this Saturday at 1:30 at Chapters, you're having a book signing, and you're also making a bit of a presentation.
I am. Yes.
Good for you.
Yeah,
So you're
thank you.
opening up your doors to people to say, come and meet me, and people who might want to learn more because they're going through something similar would benefit.
They would, yes, and absolutely open to questions and whoever would like to come and hear my talk. It is an inspirational talk, and it's about living an authentic life and how do we remain true to our own nature, to our own self through difficult times, through pressures and lots of things coming at us. And so hopefully people will go away being inspired by this talk and feeling like they've got some tools to be able to cope, and to basically it's about following your heart.
And just quickly,
Yes,
I wanted to ask you, it's been 2.5 years since Mark's passing. How has life been since then? Is it hard to move on? You have 2 other boys, you said.
That's right. Yes, they are grown adults, and they're doing very well. My husband and I, we ended up selling our home of almost 30 years, and gave away or sold most of our belongings, and we left the country and traveled the world for almost a year. And then we settled at Sun Peaks, and we now have made Sun Peaks our home. And we're both skiers. We raised our children to ski, and that was our second home. And so now we're fulfilling our dream by living in this beautiful mountain retreat.
Good for you.
Yes.
You know what? You're moving on without forgetting.
That's
and that's
correct,
the key.
yeah.
Melanie, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. If you would like to meet Melanie, she will be at Chapters this Saturday at 1:30, signing her book and having a presentation. So if you'd like to meet her, you can certainly do that then. We're back in 2 minutes.